Argos, go, go, go. Pull together, fight the foe. Scoring touchdowns for the blue on blue. The Argos will win for you. Full of fight and courage, you can't stop. They pile up the points until they reach the top. Pull together till the Grey Cups won. Go Argos, go, go, go. Scoring touchdowns for the blue on blue. The Argos will win for you. Full of fight and courage, you can't stop. They pile up the points until they reach the top. Pull together till the Grey Cups won. Go Argos, go Toronto, go. Go Argos, go, go, go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 9 of the Argo Bounce Podcast show with co-hosts Chris Pomay and Nick Small, a weekly independent, non-affiliated show devoted to the CFL's 19-time Grey Cup champion, Toronto Argonauts. I hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. And for the second straight week, we get to talk about a Toronto Argonauts win as well. Before I bring on my co-host Nick Small, one of the Argo season ticket holders wasn't able to make the home opener against Calgary last Thursday. He is a season ticket holder. He is an Argo super fan who has even more pictures of the players than I do or Nick, and his name is Brandon Lillis. Brandon, I hope you feel better and you're at the next game on the 22nd against those Hamilton Tiger Cats as well. And Nick, before I bring you on, I have a special guest tonight. This is probably his 6th or 7th appearance over the years on our show. He is the longtime voice of the Toronto Argonauts on TSN 1050, and he's also their manager of media communications, and he is the one that introduced me to Chris Belnovich 5 years ago, the one and only Mike Hogan. After we give him a little bit of applause. 1 second. I think I hit the wrong button here. Okay, that's for Philly fans.
Wow.
Good evening, Mike.
Me.
Well, you're a Philly Eagle fan, so we're
you
used
booed
to it.
Me. I heard that was you said we welcome him on the show, and it was boo.
I hit it by mistake. Hey, Philadelphia loves boos.
Why do I keep doing this?
So, anyways,
Mike, thank you for joining us.
I'm here. Let's go.
Well, Mike, before we get into the show, I wanted to get your thoughts again on the time at Guelph. Obviously, training camp, 3 months of practice due to the World Cup. Just thoughts on your time in Guelph and how the team managed to get through those 3 months here.
Argos are really lucky that they have Guelph as a partner. The facilities are spectacular from a football operations standpoint. The field is great. The locker room is as good as any in the league, either league. The workout facility, the food, the dorm rooms for training camp, first rate. And it wasn't an ideal situation staying in Guelph for 3 months, but there were worse places to stay, I can tell you that much. And we really thank the Guelph staff for putting up with us for 3 months, because it was long. It was enough. No disrespect to Guelph, but guys wanted to go back and sleep in their own beds and be a little bit closer and play games at home and all that stuff. And they were great, but it was time. And we can't wait to be back next year. Like we're excited about going back there for training camp, because it is there can't be a better training camp facility than University of Guelph.
And for me, I'm very fortunate. I live 7 minutes from the university, and I was able to get up there once a week to do a couple player or coaches interviews as well. So thank you to the Argos organization as well. And I love doing what I'm doing.
Good.
Yeah, the accessibility was really cool. As always, Guelph's really fun for that. And it's neat how for things like in training camp, I saw there were youth camps being brought out to get to meet and greet with the players, the coaching staffs. That was really cool. The other thing I thought that was really interesting, I looked up this stat. every single game so far, the Argonauts season has been at a different stadium at what, 9 games now. I think that's probably they're the only team to ever do that. So when they look back on how this season went, that's a pretty amazing accomplishment that they started the year on the road in that many different stadiums.
Yeah, I actually, Ben Grant had pointed that out, that they had played every team once, and played in a different building. And I put that in the game notes, with Edmonton kind of completing it. 9 teams in the league, 9 stadiums, 9 weeks. Like it's nuts, but it is what it is. I think everybody with the organization, when we heard the news, dreaded the move, because we knew what kind of hell from a football operation standpoint it was going to be. And a tip of the cap, a giant tip of the cap to Danny Webb and Dave Silberg, the equipment guys, who were above and beyond superheroes, getting things from Guelph, where we had to practice leading up to the game as well, because Lamport was taken over by Caravana festivities. I forget what the new name of Caravana is, so my apologies there. But the festival and parade preparations were going on at Lamport, so we had to practice until Tuesday at Guelph, one day to move everything from Guelph to BMO Field, and somehow they got it done. So the stuff that went on behind the scenes, I think, has been maybe not known by the average Argo fan, but Danny Webb, Dave Silberg, and the folks that helped them out were just above and beyond.
And also the training staff too. I always like to give credit to the behind the scenes guys too, because there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, no question. And it's difficult enough in training camp when you have 100 bodies in there and all of them want time to rehab, and if they've got nicks, they want to get it looked at. It is what it is. I mean, but yeah, you're right. They do a great job, no question.
Mike, I have to ask you this too. With the Argos coming back to Guelph next year, which is great, they're going to come back in April instead of May, with the schedule starting earlier in 2027. How's that going to work with the university? Because a lot of
I have no idea. I'll cut you off right there. I have no idea what they're going to do, because there are kids still going to be in their dorm rooms that we're going to need. So I don't know. That's for guys with bigger foreheads than me. I have no idea, but I'm sure they've worked something out.
Wow. By the way, Mike, I mentioned to you before too, Chris was supposed to come on our show, but he's really shy. So I let him off.
He's not shy. He's just a weasel.
Well, he ended up making a donation to the Cambridge Humane Society,
which is really good. And I commend him for it, but I condemn him for not coming on the show because the people want to see him.
But he did give me a CFL media guide at Thursday's game. So
that's his job. Don't compliment him for doing his job.
You owe me a copy of that later, Chris. Now, I think one thing we should move on to, though, is we got to talk about the game at BMO Field there last week. And we got to say, as part of the pain, the challenges, the difficulties of being on the road, we finally are back at BMO Field. And I got to say, wow, what an awesome new lights, sound system, the Northern VIP suites. That all looked really, really good.
Yeah, it did. That was literally my first time in the building. Was I there when was I there last? I can't even remember when I was in the building last. But yeah, it was great to see. We walked in for the walkthrough the day before the game, and to see the finished, almost finished. Like there's still some tinkering to do with the North Grandstand, the private boxes. It was great. The light show, I can't hear the sound system because I've got the headphones on and we're doing the radio broadcast. I hear great things about it. I had no idea that light show was coming. That was
really? You had no idea?
I knew that they had new toys to play with. I knew the LED system, but I hadn't seen or heard what they were going to do with it. I was surprised when the lights went down, and then when that light show happened at the end of the third quarter, I think I was like everybody else. And in the room after the game, guys were coming up and saying that light show was crazy. Both players and staff and coaches, like everybody was taken aback by it. So That's just another reason to get down and kind of experience that. So Argonauts.ca for tickets. Would love to see you down there.
Yeah, it's a great. Oh, go ahead.
By the way, Mike, you see that in a lot of NFL stadiums during U.S. college football. I didn't expect that, and that was really nice. And I heard a lot of positive responses to that too, Mike. And we have somebody watching on YouTube, Fear the Conspiracy. He says, "Hey, it's Mike Hogan. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube."
Oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah. Hey, hi, Fear.
If you have any questions for Mike or Nick and me, please put them in the comments section. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, the other thing I do want to tack on too, like some of the things we saw in the effect of the game too. The grass held up amazingly well. We had about an hour before the game, for anybody who wasn't there, there was a brief shower, and the turf held up perfectly. It looked great. And the other thing I noticed too, and I think it was mentioned on the radio broadcast, I always listen to it when I'm watching the game in person or on TV, that northern grandstand there, it seemed like it really did a number on cutting down the wind, especially in that northern side of the field. I don't know if maybe it was just a one game case, but it'll be interesting to see going forward if it's going to block more wind on the field goals.
Yeah, it was interesting because in the pregame, I went down there and the telltales were limp, and the wind rarely comes from the north during games. Like it's almost always off the lake, right? So. Yeah. We looked at the telltales, and Ben and I in the pregame were up top, and we couldn't see the telltales. Like we were thinking, did they forget to put the telltales on? We literally said that in the pregame because we couldn't see them. They were all hanging on the other side of the post for whatever reason, but they weren't even fluttering.
I noticed that with the banners too, like even the Grey Cup banners in the south end right at kickoff. I usually look at that as well as another indicator. And when I do my little tweet at the beginning saying like, here's the ref who's starting with the ball or whatever, like they were dead still. They were not moving at all.
Yeah, it was a rare night. I'd be curious to see what it's going to be like with the wind up from the south. But yeah, I was astonished how little wind there was overall, especially with rain. Like there was no wind at all. It was a real rarity for that building because usually at least there's a little bit of a flutter to the banners in the south end. But you're right, and we mentioned that on the broadcast too, that they were just hanging with no flutter. So I don't know what that's going to do for wind, but it's going to do a lot for the people who are in those suites because those Ben went down and looked at one of the suites. They had a bunch of contest winners from Argo X's and Argos go in there, and he said it was just great. So hopefully people will get a chance to see a game from there at some point in their Argo fandom.
Mike, are you able to tell the audience about the upper deck patio for 2027 that's coming? Yeah,
that's the plan. Obviously they wanted to do it this year, but with the construction and they had those seats above, for World Cup, they just couldn't get it done and done properly and safely. So the plan is to have that as a viewing area, the area above the top floor of the suites, and just sell tickets there. Think of the Rum Hut area in Winnipeg, or what's it called at Rogers Center, the flight deck. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of that area where people could just go and meet and hang out, not have a seat. Be served and watch the game. So a more casual way to watch the game. So that's the plan. But from unless something has changed, that's going to be for 2027.
Mike, I walked around at halftime, and I know the attendance was announced 16,160. My goal was 18, so it wasn't far off. But I did see a lot more younger football fans there. I actually had 5 young Argo fans come up to me, wanting a selfie with me and my autograph, and I thought they were just being funny or
How
joking.
Much did you have to pay them?
Zero.
Okay.
And it's just, it felt great, but it was nice to see younger fans. Like, I think there might be high school kids or just in college at the game. And that's what the Argo fans, that's what they need more of the fans. And also make BMO Field a place to go like the Rogers Center is now.
The one thing that gets frustrating is when I see time after time after time that MLSE isn't marketing the team. We're marketing the team, but not guys our age, especially guys my age. We're going after young fans. It's reflected in group sales. We're among the leaders, if not the leader, in the CFL in group sales, primarily targeted toward youth football. You look at people who have an interest in the sport, right? And you try to capitalize on them. And you try to, if they haven't been exposed to Argo football, you try to expose them to Argo football. They're NFL fans, they're NCAA fans, whatever. We've got to show them that we've got a really fun option for people in Toronto to come and watch live football and a team to get behind that wins. And, you know, our group sales department has done a spectacular job where we lack compared to the rest of the leagues and season ticket holders. We don't have remotely enough season ticket holders. And again, it's people much smarter than me that have to figure out how to improve that. So if you're somebody who goes down to 4 or 5 games again, I will put out the request. Try season tickets. Like this year, you only had to go for 6 games. There's 5 left. Call a ticket rep and see if you can get the deal on the remaining 5 games. I'm sure somebody will be able to squeeze you in and get you a good deal. But that's where we hurt compared to the rest of the CFL. Our single day game sales aren't bad. Our group sales are spectacular. We need more season ticket holders. Period. That's where we hurt.
And Mike, one thing too, doing freelance media work and being a season ticket holder, if I'm doing media, the Argos are great enough to let me exchange that ticket to another game. So even though I was in the press box, I had 3 tickets and I had 3 friends who had never been to an Argos game before there. They came and they absolutely loved it. So I'm hoping they'll come back again this year. And
that's been the challenge, right? There have been 2 challenges I think the Argos have had, even way before I came aboard in 2018. One is to get people to come to the games, right? Because there's this stigma that's been perpetuated over the years in Toronto that it's Bush League, blah, 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 blah. And the people who complain the loudest are the people who've never been to a game, right? And then there's the group of people that go to a game, like your friends, for the first time, have a great time. How do we get them to come back? Like I've talked to so many people who said, yeah, I went to a game last year. I had a great time. Did you come back? Well, like as a sports fan looking for a good deal in Toronto and Argonaut football is a pretty good price to go out and watch a live sporting event in Toronto. I can't figure that out. If I have a good time, I go back to the well, right?
Yes.
If I go to a good restaurant, I go back. If I go to a good bar, I go back. I don't know why people go to a good Argo game, have a blast, and don't go back. Again, that's one of the frustrating things, but it's something that as an organization, we have to do a better job. I know we put out email to people, anybody who's bought tickets, we continue the conversation with them, but it's just getting them to go back. I don't know if it's the downtown traffic situation or what it is, but the GO train stops literally a minute and a half from the stadium, walking, not driving. It's an easy place to get to. So I don't know. But that's more off-season discussion for me as opposed to what's going on now.
Well, as a season ticket holder, I can also say that we love the kind of gifts and the things that the organization goes above and beyond for. In the past couple of years, we've had things like the footballs that were given out to fans. This year, we've got the crossbody bags that are being
free Marlies tickets. Like it's
Yep.
just stuff we try to do for our season ticket holders that go above and beyond, and some of the things that we can do because we have more teams in the MLSE family. So. We try to take advantage of that, and I'm very happy as somebody who works for the Argos to hear from season ticket holders like you two that you're having a good time still, and your friends are coming to games and having a good time. Now we got to get them back, and that's on us as much as anything.
Well, a good thing else to build off that, sorry, Chris, that you guys had that flash sale there a couple of weeks ago where I've got a couple tickets and I'm taking some friends out to games who have never been or haven't been to one only a few years ago. So it's really nice that we're able to use those opportunities as well as season ticket holders to attract some of our friends to come out to a few games.
Yep, and now it's just getting them out, and hopefully they do, and hopefully you guys can continue to spread the word like you do on this podcast, and we thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And Fear the Conspiracy watching on YouTube has a comment, I guess, for all of us. He says, to be honest, I get more Tiger Cat emails than the Argos. I bought Tiger Cat's tickets once for the Labor Day Classic.
Yeah, and, the Ticats do a great job. And I'd love to know if you get emails at all from us. And if not, I'm not sure why. Maybe they go right to your sort of promotions category on your email. I don't know, but that's interesting. I'll bring that up. We just had a business operations meeting today. I'll bring it up at the next one.
Mike, one thing I wanted to bring up, sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to cut you off here, but a lot of positives on Thursday night from the fans, a lot of positives. The only negative thing I heard was not the giveaway. There was 10,000 jerseys, but they really should have maybe opened the gates at 6 instead of 6:30 with that giveaway from some of the complaints I've heard.
It was a little problematic because of the all-you-can-eat aspect. That would have had people in there half an hour earlier, and I know there were some problems and some big ones with that, and we've gone out of our way to rectify that with makeup tickets and for people who bought the all-you-can-eat. So hopefully people who had and I hate to say this, for a all-you-can-eat problem, but who had a bad taste in their mouth after the game, hopefully they're able to take those tickets and have a better experience. A lot of those fans were first-time Argo purchasers. So we've got to get them back in the building and have them have a better experience, because that was one where we stubbed our toe, and there was a long meeting today. There was a long meeting before that. There have been other long meetings about how to make that a better thing. So we're trying to correct the mistakes that were made, and hopefully if and when we do this again, we'll execute it better. That's on us. We made a mistake, and we're going to try and rectify it.
Yeah, if there's any input I can say as a fan from what I observed, I think one of the big things that was a problem was in lining up for the gates. A lot of people didn't know that for the all-you-can-eat thing, you had to line up on I think gate 3 on that side. And
that was talked about today, so we understand that, and that will be corrected.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it, because I know I love to eat, and anytime there's opportunities to eat massive amounts of food. Speaking of which, coming up this week after the Edmonton game, we've got our CNE game, which is always one of my favorite games to go to as a fan.
Yep, and Upper Deck will be open again for that game. They're on sale, so I just see somebody, Rich, has said nice to see fans in the East Side Upper Deck seats. Well, there's going to be more for the Hamilton game. There's been a lot of requests for tickets, and it's always one of our bigger draws, and the sales are good right now. We got a couple more weeks to get a few more thousand bodies in there. So yeah, it'll be a good game. It'll be well contested, well attended, and you get the bonus of getting free tickets to the CNE. So again, argonauts.ca, get the ticket, buy a ticket to the Argo game, get into the CNE for free, which is like a $30 value now, right? So in times where money's getting a little tighter for everybody with inflation, there's not such a thing as a bad deal. And when you can get a good combination of going to an Argo game and getting to go to the CNE for free, fill your boots. That's a great way to save $30. And, family of 4, you're saving $120.
I'm going to make a prediction. There's no reason why they can't get 20,000 for the Cats.
20,000.
20,000 at least.
It's a rivalry game. It's a big game. Obviously it's an opportunity to put Hamilton a little bit further in the rear view mirror. Hopefully an Argo win and a Ticat loss this weekend. I know we're underdogs by, I saw 3.5 points. Hamilton's underdogs in Saskatchewan by, I think, 6.5. So they've got a tough one this weekend. If we can win and they can drop another one, that really helps our playoff standing. And if we can then beat the Ticats face-to-face, head-to-head, that goes a long way. So the more the merrier in terms of Argo fans, and the guys appreciate it. They know what a home crowd can be. I wish I had $5 for every time somebody said, I'm astonished how loud that building gets with a number of fans in there, especially if it's like a light night attendance-wise. But man, in the fourth quarter, that building was rocking and really loud. So the players, the coaches, the staff, we all take note of that, and so does the other team when they're trying to call signals and can't because it's too damn loud.
Give a shout out to the ultimate hype man, Adam Goss.
Yeah, he's good at what he does.
Absolutely agree. Hey, Mike, thoughts on Sully Burrows at halftime? I've never heard of him before, never listened to his music. I thought he did a great job. Is there any plans in the future to bring back a singer or some kind of acts at halftime too?
I don't know what they're doing on that front, and I heard nothing but great things about him or them. I didn't hear anything because we were busy. We had the headsets on and we're doing a halftime show. So they had their halftime show. We had ours to look after. So unfortunately, I heard a little bit of the last song, and they sounded great. And the new sound system really, really helps. So, just another one of those things that we benefited from. The North End grandstand looked great. The sound system, the LED light show from World Cup. The field is ridiculous. I have never been on a playing surface that soft.
As good as that.
It was crazy. I saw you down there before the game, Chris. I don't know if you went out on the grass.
Yes, it was amazing.
Insane. That's what the NFL plays on, man. That's what World Cup plays on. Our playing surface has always been great, but because it was so pristine, it was ridiculous how good that playing surface was, and it held up, like you guys mentioned earlier. It held up in the rain exceptionally well.
They're making me jealous. I'm going to get down there and touch the grass at one point. Hopefully without security.
I've never seen anything like it. Honestly, it was fantastic. So that's another benefit from having the World Cup.
You know what's funny, Mike? Back before I was born, 71, 72, they had a Grey Cup at Exhibition Stadium on that site. And after the Grey Cup, Calgary complained about the grass field, awful. And the city of Toronto said, never again will have a grass field on that site. They went to artificial turf before the Blue Jays came in 77. And who thought 50 years later that same site would have that kind of grass? How the technology has changed in 50 years.
Absolutely. And it's funny how there are waves in football where AstroTurf became the thing you had to have, which was like playing on concrete. It was awful. And then field turf came in, made it a little bit better, and now there's the push to go back to grass for a lot of stadiums, certainly in the NFL. It's full circle. And who knew we'd be talking about grass technology?
Hey, Mike, if you got a couple more minutes, I just wanted to bring this up, and I'll let Nick get a couple quick questions in too before we let you go. What are your thoughts on this year's old-time Argos in Carl Brazeley and Kevin Iben?
Yeah, Kevin Iben, no-brainer. Kevin was here for a long time, played, 10 or 11 years here, and then he had his last year in Hamilton. We forgive him for that. Then came back as a coach, won 3 more Grey Cups. I mean, he's 4 rings in all. In 2004, he had probably the greatest season an Argo defender's ever had. He was the team's most outstanding Canadian. He was the team's most outstanding defensive player. He was the team's most outstanding player. He was all CFL. He was just everything. And he won a Grey Cup. It was a perfect season. Brazeley came in. He had been with Ottawa, and the Argos had beaten them in the Eastern Final in 1982, and then Brazeley went down to the NFL, tried that. I think it was with Buffalo when he got released, and in August he came in and was really kind of that missing piece that helped the Argos win the Grey Cup in 83, helped them get to another one in 87, helped them win another one in 91. He was a gigantic talent with an even bigger personality. He was just fun. He would have been fun to cover back in the day because he would have never been shy with a quote. And I don't even want to think what he would have been like on social media back in the day.
Makes me think of Ralph Hawley.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Big a personality and funnier, with no disrespect to Ralph. Brazeley was just that guy. He was the classic. He was Ralph Hawley and Damati Coxie rolled up into one.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, are you able to plug the new Argo podcast with Sean Bowen?
Yeah, I see the second one's up with him and Tavares Daniels. Then he was, they had, I can't remember.
Ralph Hawley.
Hawley is up there, and they're all ready to go. So Sean's doing a series of those this year. So that's up. You can find that on our social channels, including YouTube. So if you want to learn a little bit more and kind of go off the beaten path a little bit with some Argo players, that's the place to go.
And Mike, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let Nick get a final question. Just thoughts on the passing of Jim Corrigan and the impact that he had on the Argos for 11 seasons.
Jim Corrigan was the best Argo player in the 70s. He was a kid from Barrie, went down to Kent State, and came back up. And this is an era where a lot of Canadians didn't play D1 football. and he went down to Kent State, came up here, and was a lifelong Argo, and was the first and is still the only Argo to be named CFL Most Outstanding Defensive Player. Think about that. 60 years almost of that award being handed out, and it's been won once, and it was by Corrigal. And it's tough to put into a statistical, biography how good he was, because tackles weren't a statistic back then, sacks weren't a statistic back then, but Corrigal was, and I never met the man, apparently a happy-go-lucky, jovial, nice man, right, off the field, and was the meanest SOB you could line up against on the field. He was intense. He hit, and he meant business when he did. And then he'd celebrate with a cartwheel. If he had a sack, he would cartwheel, the Corrigal cartwheel. When you looked at that defense with guys like him and Jim Stillwagon, and, you can't say really Corrigal without Stillwagon and vice versa. Corrigal was the linchpin. He was, in a very mediocre decade after 71, he was the best player, and maybe by not just a little bit. He was that good. And, when he passed, it was certainly something that was felt by the organization, and we honored him at the first game.
Any chance, Mike, that his number could be the next one retired in the future?
I don't think so. He would certainly be worthy of that. And he was in the first group of all-time Argos, if I'm not mistaken, and deservedly so. The retired number has only happened 4 times. Like, it's the cream of the crop. It's Pinball, it's Dick Shadow, it's Danny Nicoluk, and it's Joe Kroll. Like the absolute upper echelon of Argos. So, we're, I think, 30 now with the 2 editions this year of all-time Argos. So that's rarefied air, but I don't know who the next retired number would be. I've got a couple of ideas, but we'll have to see as an organization who would warrant that.
Terry Greer, number 10.
Yeah, was he here long enough?
Good question. Good point.
Terry Greer is the best Argo not named Doug Flutie in my lifetime. He was dominant, and I would not have a problem with that. Or Connie, or Ricky Ray, or Mike O'Shea, or there are guys who should be up there. Chris Van Zyl. It's unfortunate he played as long as he did in Hamilton, because if he was a lifelong Argo, that becomes almost a no-brainer. But he will be an all-time Argo at some point. First things first, but to get somebody with the number retired, that's going to take something.
Yeah, you can make the same argument with Ricky Ray. His career in Edmonton was long enough to stand on its own, let alone he's
still by far the Argos all-time passing leader.
Yeah, that's the most insane thing. Like, imagine if Doug Flutie hadn't played the 3 seasons he was here. If he played a 10-year career, he'd probably have the highest numbers, could challenge Damon Allen or Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah. It was if he spent his whole career in Canada and had played in that offense that he played in here. 15-3, 15-3, 2 MVP awards, 2 Grey Cup wins, and 2 Grey Cup MVPs. It doesn't get better than that.
By the way, we have David Silberg watching on Instagram Live. And also, Mike, there's something else I was going to ask you. Is there another alumni event coming up with the Argos on the 22nd against Hamilton?
Yeah, that's the one. The Argos are going to have their Argonaut alumni. So if you are an alumni member, make sure that you get to that game. Contact Jason Pottinger or reach out to me, and if you don't have JPO's digits. He's done a great job. Like the organization, the Argonauts Alumni Association, has completely modernized under his leadership. He's been there just over a year, and it's been remarkable what he's done. The next event for the public will be the golf tournament, which will be at Lionhead, the Pete Martin Memorial. $250 to play that golf course. You get your lunch, you get your dinner. Great prize table, and the money goes to refitting helmets in the GTA for minor football, which is not inexpensive. I think last year was a $15,000 check. And there's also the Argo Legacy Fund for players who need some financial assistance. So it's a big day. And Silberg's watching. That light show was so good. Silberg was impressed. Silberg doesn't get impressed by anything. He's way too grumpy for his age.
They say that about me too.
Well, yeah, you're just a grumpy human being by nature. But that's how good the light show was. Hi, Dave. I already gave you props earlier on the show.
That's really cool. I can say as a fan too, those public events where you get chance to meet with members of the Argo alumni and sometimes current players, former players. It's a really cool experience as a fan because like it's hard sometimes, maybe in the same way that like you look at, say, a Second World War veteran and how they were your age a lifetime ago and fought in a big event. It's the same with these football stars. It's hard sometimes for people my age and younger to really relate, but when you get to talk to them, like football's football, and you get to hear some really amazing stories that these guys share at the alumni events. It's a lot of fun.
For a guy who grew up as an Argo fan, that's one of the coolest things for me, where I'm able to often revert back to my 10-year-old self and meet the guys that were heroes when I was a kid. Like, I never met Corrigal, but guys from that era.
Charlie Bray, I got to talk to him.
Getting to work with Peter Martin, a guy who I watched as a kid. Then getting to meet two of my heroes in Greer and Holloway. That's just weird to me. And maybe the coolest thing that I have done working in this organization was at a Hall of Fame when Greer was finally going into the Hall of Fame. Mookie Mitchell was there. And I had met Terry a couple of times that year. We had just done an interview. And I said to Mookie, hey, did you see Terry Greer's here? And he goes, he is. I've never met him. I got to introduce Terry Greer to Mookie Mitchell.
Wow.
The 2,000-yard receivers in Argo history. So as a kid, and for somebody who, was play-by-play guy when Mookie was here, that was cool. That was not me working for the Argos. That was, high school aged me with Terry Greer. And those things are cool for me. I don't lose sight of that.
Hey, Mike, for myself, I've met a lot of great former Argos and current Argos, but I was fortunate to meet Pete Martin before he passed away. I got a picture with him, shook his hand. He actually gave me his number. He was actually going to come on our show before, unfortunately, he passed away. But I would say out of all the Argo memories, meeting Pete Martin, because growing up in Oakville in the 70s and 80s, a lot of the games were blacked out. And my love of the Argos came from CFRB 1010 with Bob Bertina and Pete Martin. And I learned a lot about the Argos and how good he was as an analyst as well.
Yeah, I think Wes McKnight is the only guy that's done play-by-play longer than me on the radio. Wes was 30s, 40s, and 50s. And, some people say of our generation, oh, Hogan, you're the voice of the Argos. No, Pete Martin's the voice of the Argos.
Yeah, for me, a little bit different, but my big memory engagement with the player was probably when I played in the Mississauga Football League that Pete Martin had founded. I went to a lot of Argos camps and things when they were still at UTM in Mississauga. And my favorite one was going to a camp, and I was one of maybe, I think there was only like 30 of us. There wasn't very many of us, but I basically played catch with Ricky Ray and got coaching tips from him on getting more of my shoulder involved in the throw, more rotational force. And I think when I look back on it, it's made me a better thrower, a better passer than I was before I ever met him. So that's really the fond memory I've got.
Pretty good teacher.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, as we wrap this up, just thoughts on Chad Kelly quickly and the game against Edmonton Saturday at 3:00 and where our audience can listen to you and Ben.
Yeah, Chad's lighting it up. I mean, he had the 4 picks, but there are a lot of guys who, if they throw 4 interceptions, are going to sulk and not be into the game and be mad at themselves or mad at the receivers or mad at the O-line or mad at somebody. And Chad's just, okay, that's filed. And the ball he threw in the last minute and the catch that Coxie made down the sidelines for 30 plus to set up the game-winning field goal, I thought was just, how many quarterbacks, in all honesty, are going to make that throw after throwing 4 picks? You mentioned Ricky Ray, maybe him. because he
Doug
was on
Flutie?
maybe
Maybe
Flutie,
Doug-
because
yeah.
Flutie just didn't care either. But
Very
yeah,
few.
he's that guy, and he's going to have a good one. Edmonton's really tough, but the Argos are leading the league in passing in terms of yards per game, and he's the big reason. He doesn't have them all. Nick's come in a couple of times, and in the Calgary game, and then the second half in the BC win. And so the two of them have it going, and they're going to have it going against a very good Edmonton team on Saturday, and it'll be Ben and yours truly on TSN 1050.
Nick, final thought for Mike as we let him go.
Yeah, I know. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be really interesting because Edmonton's also a team that's looking to kind of bounce back in the win column. They dropped the last two against Saskatchewan and Montreal, who I think you would probably put in that pool as the kind of top three teams in the league right now. And if Toronto wants to be in that group, then they got to beat Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium this Saturday.
Yep, it's a good test, and the Argos are playing great football. They've given up 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. One was on a 3-yard drive after the fumble on the first play of the game offensively for the Argos, and the other one was a legitimate drive, obviously. But if you're giving up 1 touchdown drive in 2 games, you're doing something really well defensively. And the Argos are starting to get into the quick system, and Lemon has played well, and Bolden has been spectacular in his 3 games. So yeah, the defense is starting to catch up to where the offense is, and play, the cliche has become complementary football, but the offense, the defense, and the special teams were all major contributors to that win last week.
And the addition of Sean Lemon and his veteran presence too, I feel.
Yeah, and he can still play. Like, I think we're all kind of, what's he got left? And, the old farts come in. When I saw Sean for the first time in Guelph, I said it's great to have somebody older than me on the team. And some of the players heard that, and they were kind of looking over. And Lemon goes, "It's okay, we went to high school together." So he's having fun with it too. He knows where he is in his career, but he's still very productive. 3 sacks in 2 games and a lot of pressures. The pressure on Vernon Adams that resulted in the intentional grounding in the first half, that was on Lemon as well. So he's come in and done exactly what they wanted him to do, and that's get at the quarterback and make sure that maybe he's got to start getting double teamed, which will free up Holly in the middle, who sees double teams on about 50% of the plays.
Maybe D-Max will want to come back in himself. He'll be the first player coach the team has had probably since Jim Corrigal.
Well, D-Max is only 1 sack ahead of Sean Lemon now on the Argos all-time list.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so last week Lemon with the 2, or in the 3, I guess, since he's come back, has passed Mike O'Shea, Kevin Huntley, and Ron Flemons, who are all great pass rushers here, obviously. And next up is D-Max, who's 1 ahead of him, and Glenn Kulka is 1 more ahead of him. Kulkamania from back in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, yeah. So yeah, he's up in esteem. He's in the top 10. So you go, Lemonator.
Hey, Mike, as we wrap this show up, just any latest word on former Argo Stiggers who got hurt today at the Jets training camp?
Yeah, I was in the office today, and that kind of came up on my Twitter feed. That he went over to the sidelines, I guess, and just kind of passed out at practice today. Aaron Glenn, the Jets coach, afterwards said, he was out of it. He came back. He was talking. He was conscious. So everything pointing in the right direction. And I took a nap this afternoon. I got up not too long ago and looked to see how he was doing. And there's no real update, but that's probably good news that he was just there for precaution. So that's good. But man, like, from what that kid went through in his life, that's the last thing anybody needs. I mean, his story is so good and so heartwarming, and we hated losing him to the NFL, but there wasn't anybody in the organization that wasn't thrilled that this kid was getting a shot in the NFL and getting NFL money. And I hope he's okay, obviously, first and foremost, but I hope he doesn't miss any time and he's ready to go as soon as possible.
Seeing him come back to Guelph there about a month ago too, like he remembers his roots kind of thing, wants to be back to the guys there. That was a really heartwarming story that you covered there during that time.
Yeah, great guy, and he's missed up here obviously as a player, but his story was just, I've been doing this a long time, but I can't think of a better story than where he came from to be doing what he's doing. I'm thrilled for him.
Hey, Mike, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know it was originally 20 minutes, but thank you for giving us 40 minutes.
You do that every time you say 20 minutes, and it's 45 minutes.
Okay.
I didn't talk enough about the Argos. We talked about the off-field stuff.
Wow. I'll bring you something the next time I come to BMO Field. I'm hoping to be there for the Hamilton game on August 22nd, 7 o'clock, and it's CNE game, and fans can get tickets at argonauts.ca. Mike, what's the best place for people to follow you on social media?
Mike Hogan Argos. I'm on Twitter more than I'm very rarely on IG, but that would be the spot to do it, or just read the stories that come up on argonauts.ca. I'm going downstairs to write one now on the Argos run defense,
which I think this defense is getting better every game.
I know. Here's some numbers. I'll tease the story. I added up the 8 starting running backs that the Argos have played this year. They have combined for 4.4 yards per carry, 52 yards a game, and have only scored 1 touchdown against the Argos this year.
Wow.
Starting running backs. And that's Oliveira, Mills twice, Butler, Roundtree, Conley, Bell, and Tice. That's pretty good.
Impressive.
Absolutely.
The coaching staff's doing a great job. Michael Hendricks is watching on Facebook. He says, thank you, Mike, for coming on tonight. And Michael is a huge Argo fan. And Fear the Conspiracy watching on YouTube says, great broadcast, guys. Mike, thanks for sharing. You're an old-time Argo, which you will be one day, an old-time Argo, Mike Hogan. And I learned a lot today. Go Argos.
Perfect. I appreciate the input, and I'm very happy Silberg stayed up late enough to watch this.
Now we have to get Chris to watch one day.
He watches. He just won't come on. He's gutless. He's a coward. He's a fraud. And I don't care if he tried to buy his way out of this with the donation to the Humane Society, but he's still got to get his ass in this chair. That's all I'm saying. Belenovich is soft.
By the way, I ran the 40 yards in 8.24 seconds. Not bad for a 54-year-old guy.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Saw you chugging out there.
Unless Nick altered the time. I hope you didn't alter the time.
I started it on my phone stopwatches at same time I dropped it. So
I thought he was going to be able to time you with a calendar, but you proved him wrong.
Hey, Mike, one thing about the Argos, today I wasn't feeling well, but as soon as the show starts with Nick and then you coming on, my adrenaline kicks in, and the Argos are like great therapy. And I really enjoy being a part of the Argos family as a season ticket holder, but as freelance media. And you guys have really helped me with my media career the last 5 years, especially.
Well, we're happy to do it, and we're happy you guys continue to talk about our team and our league. And we're happy you guys do what you do. So keep on doing it.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, boys.
We'll see you soon.
Will do.
All right, Nick, thoughts on Mike Hogan being on our show tonight? And I'm going to prep one of our videos while you do some talking for a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part always when we have a guy like Mike Hogan on. He's so knowledgeable, knows everything about the team's history. As we saw, we dig into all these cool, fun statistics and things about players. We talk about Flutie and Ray and reminisce on them. We talk about Brazeley or Kevin Iben or whoever. There's always some fun things to do, and I think that's just because, like, of the three of us, we're not just trying to cover the team, whether it be in Mike's official role or ours is this podcast, but as fans, like, we're all fans of the team and we all care and we all love the history of this team. It's why I've got jerseys of Royal Copeland and Joe Kroll and Dick Shadow on that. I wasn't even old enough to see any of them play, so it's a lot of fun in that capacity. Yeah, we got only about 10 minutes left before we hit the hour mark. We've been at this for a while, but if you're ready, we should get your next video set up. Yeah,
we can go a little bit past an hour. I'd like to play an interview that I did with Mike Miller during training camp, or not training camp, but practice here last week. And then I have one of DeMonte Coxey after the Argos win over Calgary too. DeMonte Coxey is one of the nicest guys you will meet, and you see a lot. These guys have such great personalities and characters, and I just want to see them continue to get more recognition and more attention in the city of Toronto. So just bear with us, everybody. We're going to play an interview with the 45th head coach of the Toronto Argonauts last week at the University of Guelph, Mike Miller, who is a native of Pittsburgh, and he served under Bill Cowher for a couple years with the Steelers, Buffalo Bills he's with, and also the Arizona Cardinals as well. Just bear with us, and we're going to play this interview right now of Mike Miller. At Alumni Stadium at the University of Guelph, and I have the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, Mike Miller, their offensive coordinator as well. Mike, just thoughts on today's practice here at the University of Guelph?
I thought it was good. Guys flying around, energy. Thought it was complimentary. Guys making plays on both sides of the ball. I thought the special teams was efficient, flying downfield and detailed, and making their calls and communicating. So thought it was good. As good as we continue to build up, but as we know, we're only as good as that next day. So we have things that we'll learn from this practice and work to get better tomorrow.
Overall thoughts on having training camp and practice here for an extended 3-month period here in Guelph?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the facility here is fantastic. The people at Guelph University are wonderful. They really are. They go out of their way to make us comfortable and that we don't need for anything. Especially a special shout out to the cafeteria staff. They do a great job. Lisa and Frank, our liaisons. Again, couldn't be more grateful for all that they've done. They've given us a chance with this schedule to have an opportunity to compete this year and give us a chance as a foundation to build. We know it's a long season, so this has given us a good start.
Thoughts on being named the 45th head coach in Toronto Argonauts history, and how much of an adjustment it was going from quarterbacks coach to being the head coach?
Yeah, grateful again for the opportunity. And excited, and I've been coaching since '98, and there's things you learn along the way, and you take pieces from different coaches. Bill Cowher, big influence. Russ Grimm, a guy that Joe Walton, and of course Dan Radakovich, a guy I learned from as well. But excited about the staff we were able to put together between Pinball and Jim Barker, and of course Coach Huff coming on to assist as a consultant. When we attacked free agency and the draft, and just seeing all of that come together was a lot of fun, and it continues to be that way. Again, you're learning a lot on this job, especially in your first year. So as I tell players, it's all about getting better. Same thing for me, and that goes from games to practice to scheduling. Scheduling is a big deal in this job.
And preparation as well. How much have you would say you've evolved and improved as a coach over the years, and how much of an adjustment was it coming from the U.S. game into the CFL back in 2013?
It's an adjustment. I mean, defenses up here are different. Mac told me my first year things are a little more organic up here, and there are no truer words said, but the 12th guy, the bigger field, the waggling, the 2 downs, it all takes a little time. But it's good football. I mean, there's a lot of good coaching up here, a lot of talent up here, and it's tough. Each week you've got to come ready to play and prepare as hard as possible. There's no difference to me in that respect. I mean, this is really good football, and it's well coached, and it's extremely competitive.
Now, in your football career, you've coached a lot of great quarterbacks. In terms of talent, where would you rank Chad Kelly up there?
Oh, he's way up there. I don't really. I mean, it's he's at the top. I mean, this guy is extremely talented, equally passionate, a generous teammate, competes, a competitor. He's outstanding. And another guy that's just working to get better all the time. It gives us a chance every week. And I enjoy our conversations in the meeting rooms, on the practice field, certainly during the games. And I'm always excited to go to work with him. So, we talked the other day. You believe we've been together 5 years already. And I'm not sure Chris, if I finished that original answer of moving from quarterback to head coach, but that's been an adjustment. You miss sometimes that more, I should say, a closer relationship, just minute to minute, day to day, where that's your only focus is that group. And we built a good room over the years and a great rapport that I still lean on and I still have, but now it's the wider vision. Coaching the entire team is what starts to take over there too.
How important was that, getting that win over BC, breaking the 3-game losing streak, and coming home back to Toronto as of tomorrow and being back at BMO Field for the first time in 10 months?
Yeah, to answer the first part of that, I mean, getting the win in BC was good. A lot of respect for them. Buck Piercefield does a great job. They got a good coaching staff and great talent, but proud of our guys. I mean, we just had to keep coming to work. As we said, we're a process-driven team. I mentioned already, we're about just getting better all the time and learning and growing. And that's a lot of distraction going all the way out there. So getting that win, but now it's moving forward. And it's all about this one against Calgary. Another great team, well coached, a lot of talent. But as you said, we get a chance to play finally in BMO. So we're very excited about that as well. And there's distraction moving from here, but that's all we're about is distraction and adversity. And we knew that going into this season. That's why we've collected the players that we've wanted and the coaches, that we're all about that next down, put the ball down and let's play. So we're excited to do it at BMO this week.
And finally, Mike, what would you say to the Argo fans, and what kind of an identity do you want to have with this team going forward?
Well, the identity is the same one we've talked about since my first day. And we want to play smart, fast, and physical. We want to have a team that has accountability, discipline, plays with respect, trust, but ultimately great passion. And we want to take great pride in our ability to hit. And that's what we want to play. That's our identity and our relationship or identity with our fans. We want that same passion. Let's fill BMO Field, and it's our job to play hard for the fans. We've got a great fan group, very supportive. They travel. And, we feel we're grateful to have them and to be able to play for them.
I want to say thank you so much for doing this interview. Good luck against the Calgary Stampeders Thursday night, and looking forward to getting down to BMO Field for the first time in 10 months.
All right, great. Yeah, us too, Chris. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Pomay Live with CDP Talk Show. Please subscribe, like, and share. Nick, I want your honest thoughts. Was that a good interview with Mike Miller?
Yeah, I mean, Mike is just such a great guy to talk to and to learn from. He's just, you can tell that passion is there, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can tell by how his coaching style is, how he wants players to be. He wants them to be aggressive, be hitting well. We saw that in the game this week against Calgary, how many open field tackles they made off of kick returns and punts, that they were able to really shut down the special teams from the Stampeders, and they shut down the running game. But they're also, when they play their best football, they played a disciplined game. The turnovers were maybe a problem last game, but they're able to make up for that by not taking any selfish penalties, by keeping focused on the game and thinking about the bigger picture. And I think Mike articulates it pretty well, how you lose some of those elements moving up to a head coach, where you're focused on kind of just your smaller element, your wide receivers, like when he was in Arizona, or quarterbacking when you're the QB coach here in Toronto. You do lose some of that, but that ability to think of the bigger picture and to have the rest of the organization think in the same mindset as you do, he's done an excellent job at that to this point. And it's something that's been really fun as a fan to watch, and the ability for him to go out of his way to engage with people so much. As he said, he spoke highly of us as fans, that to go out of your way to thank us for coming out to all these things, it means a lot. So it's really nice to hear that from him.
And then it's also too nice to hear from Mike Miller too, because I'm a fan, but I'm also a season ticket holder fan like you are, Nick. But I'm also doing media, so I'm very fortunate in that sense. I get to do with Mike as media, but also as a fan as well. And I think he's doing a great job, and he can relate to the players, and he knows how to communicate as well. And this team is getting better every week, Nick. I know their record is 4-4, but really, Nick, this team really should be 6-2 or 7-1 right now. 3 of their 4 losses were by 17 points. There was one game that was a stinker, which was the Calgary game, but they really could easily be 7-1 and 6-2 right now. But most importantly, I like the way the team's going in the directions, Nick. Special teams is getting better. The defense is getting better. The offense is pretty good. And I think this offense, and I tell Mike Hogan this, the offense, it can be better than even a couple years ago, because you've got a running game. You've got Sam Hicks and Isaiah Smith, and I don't think those two have reached their potential yet, and I think they're going to have more impact on this offense. And Chad Kelly, we know he's mobile. He can run with the ball. He's a threat, but he doesn't have to do everything offensively now. He has a little more help with Sam Hicks and Isaiah Smith, in my opinion. I still believe an offense is much better when you do have a running game to complement the passing game as well. Also, we mentioned the D-line, Nick, and they're playing really well, but I think the offensive line is getting better too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of the interceptions that came in this game were kind of led to the pocket breaking down. So I still think there's a little bit of challenges there.
Okay.
I know there's at least one guy on the injury list added this week. I didn't get a good look at it. But I think they're still trying to figure some things out on the O-line. There, I got the week 11 injury report now. Yeah, it was Kendall Randolph, who's a DNP this week, and I think they signed another O-lineman last week. They got Vrugden Hill back, and then I think they signed someone else. Yeah, and Ryan Hunter was limited in practice too, so hoping he'll be okay. But
do you feel this is the area that the team needs to clean up? Is the O-line needs a little more work, and also to cut down the turnovers too? And Mike Hogan summed this too. And I should have said this to Mike as well. Chad Kelly is a more talented version of Brett Favre. I just think he's more mobile. With Chad Kelly, he's got a gunslinger mentality, and he does have that characteristic, because some quarterbacks, it screws them up, messes up with them when they throw 1 pick, 2 picks, 3 pick, 4 pick. It doesn't seem to bother him like his uncle Jim Kelly, whether you like Jim or Chad Kelly, but they don't seem to let that bother him. And that is important too, because I heard some of the guys, take him out, put Arbuckle in. But I don't think there was ever any thoughts in Mike Miller's head of taking him out for Nick Arbuckle unless Chad was hurt.
I don't think Chad would have made that throw to Coaxie to end the game in the same way.
Yeah.
All right, let me rephrase it. Arbuckle wouldn't have made that throw like Chad did, I think. And that's what I think among all the other plays, what won them the game at the end there. And I think it's just that psychological framework of being quarterback. It's how he's wired. And like we know, the worst game of his career was the one they lost the East Final to Montreal in Toronto. And that was the one game Mike Miller wasn't there because he was undergoing his cancer treatments, I believe. So like that makes a big difference, right? So that having him there as your head coach, and then remember, go all the way back to week 2. Oh, him and Miller shoved each other. Oh no, this guy is falling in Toronto, and no, it didn't. It's
No.
there's some heat of the moment stuff, but really, like they're wired, right? They'll figure it out. And a couple mistakes there, some balls that he should probably just taken the sacks instead or thrown it away rather than try to force something, but those are things they can build for.
By the way, Ethan John, who's a native of Minnesota, he's watching our show tonight. Ethan John, one of the Argos, thank you so much. I know a couple weeks ago, Ralph Hawley checked our show out as well. So thank you to the guys from the team watching our show. And thank you to everyone watching the show live stream and audio. Nick, if you're okay for another 5 minutes, I just wanted to play a quick interview from the locker room with DeMonte Coxie. It's about 3 minutes.
Yep,
and
I hope...
Go ahead,
Ethan. If you're listening, I noticed you're on the injury report as well. Limited ankle injury. So if that's the case, hope you're healing up well, buddy, and you'll be ready to go for the trip out west to Edmonton.
And we'll play this interview right now from the Argos locker room with number 86, DeMonte Coxey, with 8 catches, 161 yards, and he had the big catch at the end of the game that set up the winning field goal. And he is a native of Louisiana as well, and he likes his I think Ken gives him some treats. I think he likes, is it Skittles? I think this is a Skittles guy.
Man.
Skittles guy. Okay, so next time I'm in Toronto, I'll have to get him some Skittles. But here's one of the best receivers in the CFL, number 86, DeMonte Coxey, courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Pomay Live with CDP Talk Show. Subscribe, like, and listen to it. And here's Coxey at the Argos locker room after their win over Calgary. Happy Argonauts locker room, and I have one of the best receivers in the CFL on here, number 86, DeMonte Coxey. DeMonte, thoughts on the 33-30 win over Calgary tonight?
It was a good team win. We all came out and executed. Last time we played them, we didn't get the end results, but this time it was a fourth quarter battle, and we fought to the end and we came out successful.
How important was it to get the win tonight in Toronto for the first time in 10 months?
It was great to get this win, just for as a team, as a general, and for the fans that being back, home first opener to get them guys a win, So that was great as a whole.
Were you a little bit nervous playing back here at BMO Field? And what did you think of the changes they did with the stadium and that?
Nervous. I say I'm a little nervous before every game, just because it's just getting the jitters out, and it was great. Everything was a blessing, man. It's really kind of hard to put things in words right now. It was a great team, man. We just excited to get this, and especially being back home.
Now you've played with some other great teams and great receiving corps. Where does this receiving corps rank up there?
I say this has got to be top 2. It's top 2 for sure. We didn't play this, and there been some guys that came through here, especially the years past when we was when we went to the Grey Cup and everything. So I say out of all of those, I'll give it top 3 for sure. This is top 3 one for sure.
What did you think of the Argo fan base here tonight?
It was great, man. It was great. The lights flickering at the end of the game, that was awesome. I hope we keep doing that. Keep coming out, bringing the fans out. We love to support Argo, so we really appreciate that.
And thoughts on former Argonaut Devarius Daniels being here tonight?
Oh, that was great, see my guy come out, show some love, and see the fans showing some love, bring him back. We miss him on the field, so it's good that, they still give him some love when he come back.
What's one fun fact about you that the Argo fans might not know about you?
One fun fact is I play the drums. Boom, 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 boom. I'm really nice on the drums, too.
Favorite artist?
Favorite artist? I'll say right now, I shout out my guy, OB&J from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Is there a story behind your number 86?
It was given to me. It was a gift from Argo, so I took it and ran with it. They blessed me with it, and, I ain't never let it go since.
And just thoughts on Mike Miller and the coaching staff this year?
Great coaching staff. Love Mike, Coach Mike been doing a great job this year. It's his first year, so, we've been working with him. He's been working with us, just trying to figure out his vision and make sure it come true for him. And
finally, where can our Argo fan base find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at .10 POINT with an underscore. You can find me on Twitter, DCoxey_. That's probably the only thing I'm really on. Facebook too, first name, last name.
And quick thoughts on your next opponent, Edmonton, on the 15th.
Great team. They've been playing some really great ball, and we're excited to go compete.
Well, DeMonte, I want to say thank you so much. Congratulations on a big win over a very good Calgary team, 33-30. Enjoy a little bit of time off, and good luck against Edmonton on the 15th, and we'll see you back here on the 22nd for the CNE game against Hamilton.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Next, thoughts on the interview with DeMonte Coxey.
Yeah, you could tell he was excited. I think it's really nice to see the energy, the enthusiasm, the environment from all the fans reflecting back on the players. And I think being there at the East End Zone, the BMO Club after the game, getting to see friends who were inside there, and as well as some of those players, everybody left in an ecstatic mood. Jim Barker was in a great mood when he left. Saw tea time Tavares McFadden. Saw Derek Sluka there. Jake Herslow, not Sluka, Herslow, and other guys coming out there. Like everybody was in just a really, really good vibe. And I think it just was something that the Argonauts really needed. It just put everybody in a really good spot. I think the storm's over. Now we bring the storm to the other teams with our new light show that we've got. And it just makes everything really encouraging now, so that that gives them the confidence boost that they need when they go to Edmonton this week to face a really good Elks team.
And Nick, as we wrap this up, let's talk about the Elks. They're 6-3. They've lost 2 in a row, but they are in a very improved football club. There should be a good crowd on Saturday at 3:00 against the Argos. As we wrap this up, Nick, just quick thoughts onto 3 keys for an Argo road win over the Elks from your perspective.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do against Rankin. I think that's going to be something really interesting to see, because as we talked about, they've done extremely well at shutting down the running game. But Cody Fajardo can kind of be one of these tricky guys. He kind of like Trevor Harris. He leans a lot to those checkdowns when need be, and leaves a lot to guys on their yak yardages, and that's something that we saw at times the Argos D struggled with against Saskatchewan, even though we won that game. But they've gotten better and better since shutting them down. So if they can bring that kind of defense this week against Edmonton, they should do really well on the defensive side. But that's kind of the thing I'm more focused on. Edmonton's good defensively as well, but I mean, when you've got Chad Kelly in the best wide receiving group in the CFL, and you're starting to get your own running game, I'm less worried about them. They'll be able to figure it out if they do have a couple of slow drives. I think for them, it's just Chad can't throw 4 interceptions again. If he just makes safer plays when they need to in those situations and try to get rid of the hero ball stuff, I think they'll be fine.
By the way, before we wrap the show up, I have a guest coming on my show in the next week or so on Live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show. Her name's Jennifer Muldoon. She is a realtor with King Realtor Company in the GTA. So anyone watching or listening to the show and you're looking for a home in the Toronto GTA area, check out Jennifer Muldoon at King Realty Co. as well. Thank you, Jennifer, for watching the show. And thank you, everyone, for watching the show tonight. Rich, True Conspiracy, and Michael Hendricks for watching. Everyone for watching and listening to our show. And Nick, as we wrap up the show, I'm actually going to agree with you. For me, for an Argo win on Saturday against the Elks, they got to play clean football. You can't turn the ball over 5 times on the road and expect to win. So I think they got to play clean there. I think they got to get off to a good start. And I think it's going to come down. I think the running game is going to have an impact. I really feel Sam Hicks and Isaiah Smith are going to have an impact in this game. And also, I think the defense, I really think it starts with special teams, defense, and offense, and just play a clean game. But the main thing is to get off to a good start. Get up 7-0. 10-0 on the Elks. Don't let the Elks get an early lead at home. And I think
you don't want to fumble it on the first offensive play and have
them get the
ball back at the 3.
But you know what? They didn't let that didn't. One thing about this team, and I should have asked Mike Miller this too, this team makes mistakes or has adversity. They don't seem to panic, Nick. Most teams would have panicked and like, oh my God, we're down 7-0 at home. And Sam Hicks Sam Hicks did not let that fumble affect him, just like Chad Kelly. So they overcame that mistake. And Sam didn't have a great game, but he had a couple touchdowns. He actually had that big 40-yard run to give the Argos the lead, 30-27 late in the 4th. And he had a nice 6-yard touchdown reception as well. So that's what I like about this team. When things don't go their way, mistakes happen, adversity, they don't seem to panic. And that's a very good sign with Chad Kelly, obviously, Sam Hicks, and this team. And the defense is getting better every week, in my opinion. So I expect the Argos to win this game, but they have to play cleaner football. You really can't get away with turning it. And Mike Miller would say this too. You can't win a lot of football games turning it over 5 times a game. So if they can limit their turnovers and mistakes, I have a feeling they're going to have a win on Saturday against an improved Edmonton team as well. Hey, Nick, as we wrap this show up, CFL Week 11 is here. Predictions. We're going to go with you first, Nick. BC and Calgary, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Toronto and Edmonton Saturday at 3, and then the game I will be at as media, Saskatchewan at Hamilton at 7 o'clock. How do you see these games going?
Without, I know we're short on time, so I'll just bang them out quick. I have I have Calgary over BC at home. I have Ottawa over Winnipeg on the road. I have Toronto over Edmonton on the road, and I have Saskatchewan over Hamilton on the road.
For me, for week 11, BC at Calgary, I'm going to go with BC with Nathan Rourke. I'm just going to go with BC there. Ottawa and Winnipeg. Unfortunately, I don't see Ottawa winning against Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg's going to win this game. I'm not sure if Carleros is going to start or Drew Brown, but I think Winnipeg at home will beat Ottawa. Toronto and Edmonton, I'm going to go with the Argos, but I think it's going to be a close game, Nick. This is going to be like a 1 or 2 point game. And Saskatchewan and Hamilton, I'm actually going to go with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in an upset. I think the travel from Saskatchewan to Hamilton, and I just feel Harrison Frost. I think Hamilton's going to win. So I'm going to go with BC, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Hamilton to win in week 11.
Okay, we got a lot of differing picks. That's a good thing. It makes for an entertaining show next week.
Yes. By the way, Nick, this is our 51st Argo Bounce podcast show in this format. This is your 50th show. What have been some of your favorite shows in 50 episodes you've been on?
I think one of the ones that really stood out to me was when we had Damon Allen on the one time. That was really special for me because he was kind of, as we were talking about all these other great players, just one of the ones that I looked up to when I was a kid and got me into football. So that one's up there. Of course, we've had guys like Mike Hogan and Marty York on a lot. It's been nice too, just how many other people I've made friends with through the show. Other people have come up to me saying, "Hey, we've watched your show before," and with you as well, being able to be out there kind of on field level sometimes before games and stuff, getting to chat. It's really cool how, these days now it's like thinking that just where we came from with just this idea of, hey, let's just talk about the Argos because we like talking about them, and it's evolved into something where people look to me for insider information, even though I don't have that much to offer. I just dig through the Reddits or the Twitters like everybody else, but to be that kind of go between in that role has been really fun. And then just all the other people I've met along the way. Yeah, that's been great.
And I'll be honest, Nick, before the show, I was kind of dragging my butt. I didn't feel great. I wasn't 100%. But since like I said to Mike Hogan, as soon as I start talking Argos, I'm at the stadium or doing this show, my adrenaline kicks in and I feel so much better now. And hey, I want to say, Nick, thanks for being a part of 51 episodes and congrats on 50 episodes. We originally started this on Twitter X on their crappy audio system, and we've gone a long ways since then as well. And hey, we should say this too, Nick. Thank you to everyone watching this show on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram, and also our audience on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available as well.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who has tuned in up to our 50 episodes so far, 51, and I'm sure we'll have another 50 more coming up in the near future over the next 5 seasons or so. So be sure to stay tuned and look forward to it.
And Nick, again, where can our audience follow you on social media and your next A Small History podcast episode, and the best way of contacting you again?
Yep, you can always find me on Nick Small 38 on Twitter, X, or Facebook, same name. Coming up, I got a little bit busy with a lot of personal stuff going on. Long story short, roofing is a difficult job, and it eats up a lot of your time. So that's why I wanted to have the Jim Corrigal episode out for the home opener. Of course, that didn't come to pass. I have a bit of free time this week, so I will get it out. But yeah, there's a lot of things to do going on, not just the Argos going on this week. There's the Toronto Indy in Markham. There's the Kings played at Woodbine. There's the Japan Festival in Mississauga. So there's a million different things going on. This is probably the busiest weekend of the entire year so far. So you can find some other things to keep you occupied, but be sure to tune in for the game at 3 o'clock, an afternoon game on Saturday, the 15th, Argos and Elks.
And I will be at Hamilton Stadium as media covering the Tiger Cat Saskatchewan game, and it's WrestleFest. They're gonna have some wrestling matches before the cards as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well, and getting to see Rick Zamperin in that as well. So hey, I'm lucky. I get to cover two CFL teams in the same area. But hey, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. And again, the Argos return home at BMO Field on Saturday, August 22nd, 7 o'clock kickoff against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It is CNE night. If you buy a ticket to the game, you get free admission into the CNE that day. You can get your tickets at argonauts.ca. And Hogan and Grant will be on TSN 1050 Saturday at 2:30 for pregame, 3 o'clock kickoff. Am I right, Nick?
Yep. If you go first thing in the morning, by the way, pro tip, first Saturday is always the Warriors Day Parade. So your ticket's good right from the moment gates open. So go first thing in the morning, go to the Warriors Day Parade, celebrate some of Canada's veterans, and then enjoy the football game later in the evening. And as I always do as tradition, I will be doing my Small Eat CNE thing where I will find some of the weirdest concoctions and I will evaluate them, and I'll share that on my Twitter. So one more reason to follow me if you aren't already.
And you can buy me a drink too after the game. After the game.
Yes, post-game pints of victory, hopefully.
Absolutely. Hey, Nick, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight. Say hi to your family for me, and we will figure out, everybody, when our next episode is going to be. And hopefully it'll be after, hopefully, an Argo win over the Elks. So probably sometime next week at some point. Just stay tuned to Nick or myself, social media pages for our next show. And who knows, we can have more guests coming on this season as well. But thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to the Argo Bounce Podcast show hosted by Nick Small and Chris Pomay. Nick, final thoughts as you leave.
As always, go Argos. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks, Nick. All right, everyone. That concludes season 5, episode 9 of the Argo Bounce Podcast show, a weekly independent, non-affiliated show devoted to the CFL's 19-time Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. And I want to say a special thank you so much to Mike Hogan, the manager of media communications and the longtime radio voice of the Toronto Argonauts on TSN 1050. Mike Hogan, for coming on tonight and giving us a little more than 20 minutes. So I do apologize to Mike for keeping him longer than 20 minutes, but there's nobody that loves and is more passionate about the Toronto Argonauts than Mike Hogan, and maybe Nick Small as well. But thank you to Mike Hogan from TSN 1050 and the Argonauts organization. And again, I want to give a shout out to an Argos super fan who has so much love for the Argos, and he's a season ticket holder, Brandon Lillis. Brandon, I hope you get better, feel better, and hope to see you at a game either in Hamilton on the 15th or in 2020, either this Saturday against Hamilton, Saskatchewan, or the 22nd against Toronto and Hamilton as well. So Brandon Lillis, get better, feel better, and as always, go Argos. And again, thank you everyone for watching this show on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, and the Argo Bounce Podcast show is available on all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever podcasts are available. I hope everybody has a great week, everybody, and enjoy the CFL Week 11 games starting this Thursday night. And the Argos, again, are on the road Saturday, this Saturday at 3 o'clock when the Argos take on the Edmonton Elks at Commonwealth Stadium, and the Argos return home to BMO Field on Saturday, August 22nd, 7 o'clock against their QEW rivals, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, on CNE night as well. As always, go Argos, and we will see you guys here next week with Nick Small for episode 10 of the Argo Bounce Podcast show. Good night, everybody. Go Argos.
Scoring touchdowns for the blue on blue. The Argos will win for you. Full of fight and courage, you can't stop. They pile up the points until they reach the top. Pull together till the Grey Cups won. Go Argos, go, go, go! Together fight the foe, foe, foe. Scoring touchdowns for the blue on blue. The Argos will win for you. Full of fight and courage, you can't stop. They pile up the points until they reach the